Louisiana beer reviews. Cajun Fire Bayou Cowboy, released through Cajun Fire, we should say. Bayou Cowboy White Ale, 6% alcohol, 1 pint can. I bought this at Trader Joe's. It was pretty cheap. I can't remember the price, but I don't think it was expensive. Okay, this is not brewed in New Orleans, though. It's a New Orleans company, but it's brewed by Beltway Brewing of Sterling, Virginia. It says a tribute to the legacy, contributions, and grit of Louisiana cattlemen. An ale that can be savored from dusk to high noon. And I would say even later. Crisp, clean, distinguished, unconventional. A white ale is not really unconventional. Brewed with the finest hops and wheats. And there's no website listing. They have some social media listings, but I don't consider that a website listing, because if you have to join something to look up information about the beer, that's not a website listing. Okay, you know, a website for beer, wine, or liquor, you should be able to just look it up, put none of your information in, and read about it. Okay, so that's the story on that. Alright, so this is the first video review for this product in the world. And like I said, I saw it at Trader Joe's in Metairie, Louisiana. The man said, this is new. I've only seen it here about a week. And that was about a week ago when I bought it. Alright, so maybe it's been out 2 weeks. It's got a real old born on date. April 8th, 2022. So, why, oh why would it be close to 2 years old, but it just showed up here 2 weeks ago. Now, you know, distribution is a strange thing, and dates are very strange, so everything is strange. When you're a stranger, there's a soapy whitehead, so we got to take that age into account. 6%. It's not going to really hold together too long. Well, I guess canning helps, but it's not. It's bubbly, but it's not as. I guess it's hazy. I thought it would be hazier, but hazy gold, yellow gold, depending on how the light hits it. Yeah. All right. So Cajun Fire keeps saying they're going to start that brewery in New Orleans. That's been going on, what, 10 years? So I don't think people are taking that too seriously anymore. But as long as the beers are good and they make them, or they have them made for them and we get them, you know, it's fine. Faubourg shut down their brewery in New Orleans. The the brewery formerly known as Dixie. That thing's been kind of crashing down. They had this big merger with another brewing conglomerate, and the whole story was strange. They're gonna move all the production to the big, huge, I mean it's huge, brewery in New Orleans, and right south of Interstate 10. Going to do all the beer here. And then they were saying, we have production problems here, which they didn't really elaborate on too much, saying they couldn't get people to work there at night because the neighborhood was bad. But then next door is Crescent Crown Distributing, which is open all night. And then some of the employees were saying, that's not true, it's other reasons, they didn't run it right, blah, blah, blah. So now it's just a huge, apparently the equipment's being moved out, building with some taps, like a brew pub, with events happening, but I don't know how long that's going to last. I don't see how they could have that big, huge facility and only have a brew pub from it. But that's another story, and I think it's probably going to be a buyout from a big brewing company like City Brewing maybe, and then they'll just start putting out some mass production products. Of course, if they moved all the equipment, I don't know. I really don't know, because I can't get good information on that. That's really not my problem. All right. But it's just bringing that up because that part of New Orleans, you know, one brewery saying they coming, brewing company saying they coming, the other one saying they're leaving, or we're not leaving, but we're not going to be. I don't know. All right. Yeah, it's a lemony, so I'm thinking they're adding spices to it. Could just be from the yeast, this wit beer. Wheat. Do they have oats? They're not saying that. They're saying malt and wheat. Of course, it has to have hops, but could be a minimal amount. You know, minimally allowed amount. All right, let's go with the taste. Cheers. So, gets a 65 on Untappd with only 72 original, unique check-ins. So, there's not much action with this. And I would think the availability would be extremely limited. And it's funny they call it Cajun fire because New Orleans is not a Cajun city. The Acadians, they moved to the more western parts of Louisiana, out into the rural areas. They didn't fit in with city life. They started farms. New Orleans was a Creole city. French, Spanish immigrants, straight from France and Spain. Refugees from Acadia, a few stayed in New Orleans, of course, but most, like I said, the Acadians moved out to the countryside. And you had black African in New Orleans, and then some came in from Haiti. And then later additions, of course, Anglo-Americans after the purchase in 1803, and then other immigrants, Italians, Germans, Hispanic, we know all that. All right. Well, the Spanish were already there, but other Hispanic groups. All right, so when they say New Orleans and Cajun, it's a Creole city. Criollo, that's Europeans born in America. That's what a Creole is. Criollo, Spanish. And an emigre is a European actually from Europe, like my uncle's wife. All right, anyway, spicy, low medium body, so nearly watery, but not quite so. Nice, heavy, lacing. Bitterness is very low, probably 1 out of 5 hop cones. It's a very dry beer, sort of like a Saison DuPont. Well, that's a Saison, but that one's very dry. You'd be thirsty drinking it. This one's like that. Finish is there's like no sweetness in the finish. There is some in the flavor. In the sip, it's like 2 out of 5 sugar cubes. I always say take another sip. And I watch some videos, usually it's people north of the Ohio River. And they'll say, yeah, we're going to take another drink. Even I've heard people in Tennessee, the upper South, Kentucky say, we're going to take another drink. Honestly, I've said this before in videos, I've never heard that expression before, that somebody's going to take another drink. I only heard that expression when I started watching video reviews. All I ever heard people say was, oh, let's have another sip. Or maybe rarely they'll say, I'm going to take another gulp. But in this area, southeastern Louisiana, and really the whole South, because I've been all around, but people will say, I'm going to have a sip, or I'm going to order a drink. So a drink is only a noun, a thing, a drink, a noun. Okay? A sip, you're going to take a sip. Well, that's a noun, but it's an action, right? It's an amount of liquid that you've taken in at a given moment. So, started bringing it up. I'm being honest. I'm not trying to be flip or ugly or arrogant or anything like that. I never heard that expression before. Take a drink, another drink. Only I'm going to have a drink, meaning order a drink and consume it. Or let's drink some beer, right? Action, drink. The action of drinking. Consuming liquid. Okay, little mild spiciness. I don't know what they're talking about. All right, I'll be honest. Unconventional. I like to, maybe their company is unconventional, but I don't know how that would be because, and it's a paper label on a clear cylindrical can. I don't know how that would be unconventional. There's many companies that are only an office, a business office, and their products are all brewed by someone else under their name. Okay, so that's common. That's a normal thing. That is a convention, meaning a regular thing that's done. Also saying, and the flavor, if they're alluding to the flavor being unconventional, no, it's very standard. Wit beer, I mean, that's an old style. You know, it's oh, there's gunk galore there. Look at this head. Now this is also normal though, but I poured it and it just like made that huge. And then you see how hazy it got. Look at that. That's sediment. Well, after 2 years almost. Oh, talking about that. Nah, it doesn't seem to have deteriorated at all. Of course, I didn't have it a week after it was canned either. But yeah, it seems standard. Like it tastes like it should taste for what it is. Okay, so I'm not seeing anything strange about it or off or wrong. Yeah. So it's not unconventional. So typical wheat beer with beer. I would say a Hefeweizen with all of that gunk. But yeah, it's right in the mix. But on the other hand, it's not something you got to go search out because it's not going to be any different than the rest. But it wasn't expensive, so I bought one can. You know, Trader Joe's, you can just buy a single. I should have bought two. We could have done duo reviews. So they probably keep it around. Trader Joe's around in the New Orleans area, Trader Joe's, they keep the same stuff all the time. So if it's there, it'll probably be there next time you go back. But they'll add some things once a year. But aside from their specialties, which seem to sell out in one day, and if you can't get them, you know. So yeah, so contract brewed, that's not unconventional. Liquor does that. A lot of liquor bottles you buy, and it could be very expensive. It'll say Ghost Weapon or whatever, bottled in Nevada, and then people will be like, oh man, this Nevada whiskey is amazing. I'm like, well, it's not really Nevada whiskey. If you look at the bottle carefully, it says distilled in Indiana, but you know, or beer, same thing. Pabst Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Man, they know how to make beer in Milwaukee, man. But then if you check the code out, it might say Memphis, Tennessee, you know, City Brewing. So everything actually is standard. It's very conventional. And it's very good. I like it. I had this Negro Modelo glass because they were saying on Beer Advocate for this kind of beer you should use a tulip glass. So I have one tulip glass I kind of overused, so I wanted to bring in something different. Thank you, Modelo, for sending me these two glasses in 2014, and I'm sorry I broke one. Slipped out my hand when I was washing it. Score. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be a high score. Do I like wit beers? No, not really. Do I ever want to drink them? Never. So it's a style I really basically can't stand, you know, but like Tripels. But I'll give them good. But yeah, for what it is, it's an A. It's the most excellent product. I mean, I go with 90. Yeah, 93 because of that watery, a little bit too watery, but still most excellent. Can't complain, and I think I am scoring it higher than Untapped, but like I said, it's only 72 check-ins. So all that being said, and that was a lot, I know, but I like to kind of think through the beer as I drink through the beer. You know what I'm saying? Not just be in a rush to do the video. I don't see any point to that. So I like to sort of like metaphysically approach the beer. So Lazy Le Bon Ton Relais, a most excellent product, and I'm going to end this review by saying y'all go to Sterling, Virginia, and I'm about to go look up their website and look and tour Beltway Brewing Company.